Hello Leo, and welcome to your February and March reading. Sorry about being late. My little puppy is really keeping me busy, and I only have intervals of very short period of time, and it's really hard to squeeze anything in, so not to mention even sleep. But anyway, let's talk about the big cat right now. So what do you have? You have "You deserve love" and "Stay optimistic about your love life." And you know that I generally do not read these kind of like inscriptions, but sometimes they make sense. It tells me something over here about that I need to discuss with you. It says you're lovable, and positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So why exactly are you thinking you're not lovable, guys? Why exactly are you not putting the positive spin on things that happen? You know, you can chug it to experience, you can chug it to he or she was wrong, or simply I've learned, and you know, life is tough, but I can do it, and I will do it. There's like also another combination over here, and I love this card. Tick tock, tick tock. It is like something that is telling me the time is immeasurable. It's kind of like timelessness, I guess. You know, when we created time, everything changed, right? Because it almost like feels like it contracted, right? We started to look at time in a linear way, and I always had a problem with that because when I was a young child, I had this dream about time. Weirdly enough, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, and time was a spiral. It's like a spring, except it was like getting narrowed when it kind of like came down, and then it would go up and down and up and down. And it was like really weird, and it never left me. And I was like always thinking how always when it goes up or down, we ended up with the same fashion trends and stuff. So, you know, I probably should look into kind of like mathematical part of that equation to see what's behind that. So this is really talking about, you know, kind of like how you feel about, you know, engaging into love. And it could be simply also about reproductive cycles, that they have their own timetable. And some things are preordained and they just cannot be changed or coerced, right? You have to remember that everything has its season, you know, and reason, as they say it. But it's also divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to who you fall in love. So remember that you always will have enough time for love, to find it, to nurture it, to give it, and to receive it. This is sort of like talking about that eternal clock, and it kind of like ticks like your heart, tick tock, right? Love is always right on time. So that's one thing that you can be assured of. So it's that if that was hesitation, if somebody stepped on the brake, or you stepped on the brake, and things really didn't work out, you know, maybe it's going to be time to change it, right? Of course, you also have Ingus, the rune of potential. It really talks about not looking back. Look forward, which is kind of like a different school of thought. Like a school of thought for removing pain from your life is to be right in the now. Avoid the past and avoid the future, because they can actually create constriction and pain. But this in particular is really talking that right now in the present you're going to have this like 4-leaf clover. And I'm telling you, one time I went for a walk with a friend of mine, and we sat, and I don't know, maybe you heard about the notorious mirror we had in Toronto, Rob Ford. He has died from cancer, and but he was quite a character, from criminal activities to drug use, and yet I think he was really good-hearted. Now we have, unfortunately, his brother running the province. So, but this Rob Ford actually lives in my neighborhood, and so the walk would always actually go up to just in the park that connects the place where he lives and me. It's about like 15 minutes walk. And so a friend of mine and I sat right there in the bushes, and then guess what? We have been surrounded with clover. And anywhere we looked, it was a 4-leaf clover. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I have to kind of like take a whole bunch of them and collect. So I believe I still have some, because I was giving them to my friends, and silly me, I shouldn't have, because like probably they were all for the person who finds them. So something like that. There's like for you guys, if something comes your way, don't just transfer it. Because if you have to receive something, and that's why it says you deserve love, then you need to acknowledge that. Well, if somebody is like winking at you and you say, oh, well, my friend is available, right away you're just passing that opportunity on. And it could be rightfully so, because there's like nothing there. But this is certainly telling me that you will be attracting like really, really lucky opportunities, right? That spirit has a plan, and that plan is to put you in front of the right person at the right time. It's really interesting because I kind of like failed to be on time for February. So I had to transfer these readings for February and March. So this is giving you a little bit kind of like window of opportunity. So keep in mind that this is divine. This is something about divine forces planning this meeting, and it's kind of like out of your hands. But you need to look at the signs. You will see the signs. Things will happen. So make sure that you smile and wink back when something happens. So as I said, the rune Ingus is also talking about the potential, or my knotting rune, as I call it, like a knitting needles kind of rune. I have my own names for it in order to remember them. As you notice, it's exactly the same up and down, so it doesn't have reverse meaning, right? So this is for those who are looking for maybe a more fulfilling future, especially for those who are looking for a more fulfilling job. It's about this new start that actually changes a life so profoundly that you basically never remember, never have the impact from something that happened in the past. So it is very important that in this time frame you focus on concluding all business. So whatever you need, you didn't finish writing something, you didn't finish sending letters, you didn't finish discussing something, it is time to do that, because it is like time to close one book and have the new beautiful one, kind of like that you're just so going to look forward reading. So this is also about the problem solving. It's a rune of no regrets, right? So it's kind of like one of those things, like, I mean, why are crying over spilled milk? No point in that, right? But it's also talking about here that if you have been probably vexed by trying situation, maybe something that defied you and defied your best efforts, maybe something that took tremendous amount of time and it like didn't bear fruits, right? So now it's this good news that the solution is very close, and it could be that you have been very close to the issue and it was like not possible to kind of like look at it. But this is really telling me that you haven't seen the whole picture, and that what happened, like maybe some of you feel, well, the time has passed me by, I have been run over by things in my circumstances, now I'm not trusting, I'm not blah 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 blah. Back to, why do you think you don't deserve love? Sometimes it happens just like that. Within 2-3 weeks you might be married and live happily ever after, but don't do that. Just like saw it in the movies, and I know a few scenarios, but do not do that. This is really telling me that, however, everything is going to be optimistic. It's going to be you're getting answers and you'll feel comfortable with those answers. And also this can signify maybe, I don't know, booking a vacation or taking like a few days off and kind of like treating yourself. So how about a spa visit or a visit doing things that you might truly enjoy sharing with somebody else. So let me just shuffle cards and see what else we have in the store for February and March. Alright, Leo, let's see what you have over here. I'll be telling you the cards as we come along, so for those of you who like to also see the cards that I'm using, just so you know that when I interpret the cards, I am not doing them as potatoes one by one. That's a very beginner tarot. I'm really looking at the big picture and what I see, and sometimes things from the above look completely different. So you have Ace of Cups in the past. Remember, where was that card? You're lovable and you deserve love. it really tells me of some kind of rejection, and maybe that rejection is connecting with this Knight of Swords, because the Knight of Swords is like the truth, and almost like there is like some almost obsessive quality, because you also have a Page of Swords, even obsessive to the point of checking on someone, and maybe somebody's checking on you, where you're dying to find certain things out, maybe about something that didn't work out. You kind of like want to sneak in and find how is this going, or if they're happy, what they are doing, because there's like quite a bit of the confusion that I see over here, and you need to really, really work on doubt this month. Remember, serendipity, tick-tock, you're not defined with what happened. You're not defined with the future, because this really, really tells me that something really went bad. You have Ace of Cups and you have Two of Cups, both reversed. So something that you really wanted for yourself, that little piece under the sun being your planet, and the sun is possibly the best disinfectant that we can find. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And it's like still on your mind. It could be that there is a breakup happening this month. Breakups are actually very common in February. I was born on February 15th, which I think it was a prediction for me, because February 14th being celebrated Valentine's Day, I always hated it because flowers are so expensive, right, around this time of a year. But everybody is trying and hitting the February 14th, and if things don't work out, on February 15th, they file for divorce, they're breaking up, and that's it and so forth. So, interestingly enough, that you have these two pages, there's like some young energy, and it really tells me that you have been either trying to get married, or you were meeting somebody who was giving you and sending you all these kind of wrong signals. Yes, I want to have home with you, I want to have children with you, because King of Pentacles is that way, very pragmatic. Look at him offering that chocolate cake, and we know who loves chocolate cake. Leo? You know, somebody approaches you and it's like so nice, you're liking them, and then you see the real colors and you're shocked. And Leos particularly are not taking that really lightly, and the reason you don't take it lightly, and I know I have a moon in Leo, is because your generosity has no bounds. You're willing to open your world, your wallet, your contacts, your friendships, your family to a new person. And if somebody comes in and takes or destroys something, I mean, you're doing it in a good faith, but not really with any conditions, right? But if somebody comes and takes and destroys it, oh boy, they will hear that big roar at that stage. I really feel that you have been going through a situation that included lots of jealousy. It included lots of insecurity, and this is why you have the moon over here. Like these are like these two nines. You have the moon and you have the hermit, but hermit is reversed. You're still needing to work on letting go of something. There's like still need to be with somebody who I see here harmed you, hurt you. So on one hand, you will actually assert yourself. There is like this King of Wands. This could be you, guys, and off you go. You're going in the right direction. This is like a lovely card to get. But it could be kind of like coming and going, you know? You kind of come into something and then go. And it kind of reminded me of my dad's dementia. With dementia, you come and you go in and out of reality. You don't necessarily know with having those psychotic episodes, right? But you're not psychotic, but it kind of like feels that, hey, I really want to go forward, but why is this happening? Look, you need to kind of like realize that not many, actually most people are not as generous as you are. Most people feel very protective of things they have, even though they're not many. They don't even realize how much better off they would be with maybe having a different strategy, maybe going in a different direction, because universe is going to not give it to you if you're constrained, right? If you're constrained, or if you pass on, as I told you in the introduction, then universe goes, you don't want it? Okay, fine, right? I'm not going to give it to you. So there is the message that needs to be learned, and you might, I don't know, deal with somebody who is over-promising and under-delivering, and maybe somebody who is like into this win and lose kind of like things with having Seven of Wands. Or you're in a situation that you're all talked out. You're kind of like tired of some past, because this is falling in your hopes and your fears. As much as you're hoping for someone, you're fearing that someone. So almost like as if you don't trust yourself, or you don't trust going in that direction. Maybe you're protective of yourself because you're staying and sitting where you are, thinking, well, I'm not going to get hurt here. But look at this moon card. Let's go back to this. Look at the kitty. Look at the pretty kitty looking her reflection under this beautiful moon. And this is me on my newest transportation mode. So what happens when you're empowered? What happens when you truly dream? Yes, look at this. It's a jaguar. It's no longer a kitty. Things can be done. You can get where you want. This is like very appropriate for a big cat like a Leo. And you're getting the star. I know that the star card is not necessarily a Leo card. It does belong to Aquarians. But guess what? In tarot, number 8 belongs to you, and any kind of modification of 8. This 8 is a little bit higher vibration, being 17, so 1 and 7 being 8, than your heart, than your card strength. So it is really important over here to understand, look at her, as above, so below. The energy has to flow through you. Where did that energy stop? Are you feeling that you're just giving and not taking it back? Are you feeling that, you know, you just don't have anything to give, that you're like all kind of like damaged, right? So telling you need to have that faith, you need to have that hope, you need to not to second doubt yourself and second question all the time something. You need to aim where you're going, because just because one Page of Cups, it didn't offer you what you wanted to offer, and it didn't get this like picture perfect, like I'm in vision of life, it doesn't mean that another one it won't do. Now I do have to tell you a little bit about this spying, because it looks like it could be you spying on your ex, or you know, this is so damaging. I cannot even start telling you how damaging this is. We all have been there, right? But the problem is the story and the book needs to end. And it's very hard to end. So sometimes, even though we are not in direct contact with somebody, we maintain this contact, spiritual contact. And then because we kind of like do that, check their profile, check their Facebook, check their Instagram, like whatever you can find through the grapevine. But guess what happens then? They're like spiritually linked to you, and they are doing that back. And there is like this many women finding themselves in a limbo. How do I do it? How do I cut this cord? Even the strongest one among us, sometimes we have to grin and bear to go through it. Because I clearly see there's like a shift happening. You guys, you just had enough. I really think that this month is going to be extremely strong and extremely powerful. Remember, planning and opportunity. Also, if you guys are looking for a new job, I really want to add, I know these are romantic readings, but this is coming here very strongly. This is not the best time to do it, because I guess we are entering Mercury retrograde, etc. So it goes back to that point, make your research very, very much, because the most dangerous companies and people to work for are going to have the most brilliant, beautiful face and beautiful smile. Remember? Remember my unicorn? Yes, it's going to be a fun place. It's going to be a nice place. And then you start on the first day. It's like, oh my freaking God. What the heck happened? What happened? It's just an episode. It is just a chapter in a book. Let it go. You are needing to find your own security, your own wisdom, that you can move in spite of everything. This is like really talking about working and regaining your own optimism. Not anymore be kind of like influenced by illusions, or, you know, different kind of like things of that sort. You really, really need to kind of like move forward and regain being this King of Wands. So let me clarify a few tidbits over here. I don't even care about the past. Remember, we were told to look in the future, so I'm not going to look so much the past. The present, you have two majors, and immediate future, you have a major. So look at this, something very important. This is about understanding. Nine of Swords sometimes just jumps and works it's kind of like interesting. You have like these kind of different categories of people, and I'm one of those where I move really, really fast, and plus I'm an air sign. So these people don't necessarily have all their facts together, but they're already moving because they feel, wait a minute, I can go from point A to point B, and in that process, I'm already going to be learning about the B and C. While some other people, they need to have everything planned to get there. So you will actually realize that you don't have to, maybe some of you have been healing, that you don't have to finish this whole process, that maybe you can start kind of like testing waters and just go on a coffee date with, maybe even saying, I'm not going to date, I just want to see what is out there, but I don't want to hurt anybody by going out. So I just like really want friendship and be very open about that, because that's why the star is probably suggesting, because you're having this Aquarian and you're having this Piscean kind of like attitude. And I don't know, maybe you have Aquarius, maybe you have Pisces, maybe you have Virgo or fire signs. Even earth signs are showing up over here in your chart. But let me clarify and see. Just like you're going to be very intolerant of immaturity, that I have to tell you. And you really need to be able to see through illusion, to see through people who are putting a facade. So you need to clearly trust yourself. And you know, cats see very well in the dark. Cats and owls, and I really think they're like the best, you know, vision of all of us. And I really believe that I don't know, like I watched 2 different documentaries. One was saying, oh, well, cats can see everything clearly. How can anybody see anything clearly in, you know, complete dark? So if you ever had a night vision camera, that's pretty much how cats can see. It's not really complete clarity, and that's why they're actually really not nocturnal animals. I don't know what is it called, but I think they usually hunt around dawn. Not the ones that are sleeping in the house, they're sleeping around the clock. So let me just check the King of Pentacles. Why is that guy messing with you? So King of Pentacles, Prison and Scythe. For some of you, it could have been a long distance with somebody who has been somehow occupied, maybe unavailable. Prison card. And check the little vase that is kind of like giving us some signals over there. He's chained. He's actually really feeling sorry about that. And I don't think he's feeling sorry about being chained, but there's like somebody who wanted something but couldn't do that. And it was like 2 parties that felt the same way. She is waiting and waiting and waiting, and she's like waiting like with this letter and hope, but all ships sailed out, the rose is fallen, and she really needs some kind of like support. And I'm really wondering if this is what it is. If this is like somebody you might still have, you know, not so much willingness, but kind of like inclination to see what's going on, or to even hope they will come back. Usually the Prison card shows up when somebody's married, and King of Pentacles tends to be a married fellow as well when he's reversed, but somebody who sometimes forgets to tell you that they're married, and sometimes they simply don't see that's a problem. It's just like, what's a big deal kind of a thing. And that's not said up front. This is said after the fact, after you're already emotionally hooked. And hence this new attitude, let's slow and steady. I really want to build friendship. Hey guys, come and walk my dog. You know, you meet lots of friends. It's unbelievable how many people I met. Kidding aside, this card here to me really talks about distance, and that distance can be physical distance, and maybe just somebody's like, I mean, far away, and you're hoping that, you know, somehow you're going to catch up. But this can actually really talk about long-term relationships that somehow, you know, so many things come in a way. That's why long-term relationships are difficult. Let's see what else. Let me check this moon and this transformation into that Jaguar. What will happen here? And you have Child and you have Melancholy. But it was reversed. So child in Vera Sibilla and Gypsy cards really talks, well, it can definitely talk about child and about some illusion. Or, I mean, the moon is not necessarily a good card to get, especially not in a love reading. What is good about it, it's almost over. Like, things are almost done. Like, I mean, the day is going to come. But right now, you need to have special skills. But you're a cat. And maybe this doesn't apply on you. Maybe for you, this card in this particular deck has to be looked upon completely differently, because child also sometimes has issues sleeping at night, and it is more difficult when child cries at night because we are programmed to sleep at that stage. But there is like this whole essence of waiting on someone, waiting for something, because child tells me there was something already going on that kind of like obviously reached the light of a day, but then something that you really wanted didn't really make you happy. It almost looks like it happened, but it happened not in a way that you expected it to happen, that you hoped for it to happen. Let me check this Two of Cups as well. That's maybe why you're feeling the time is ticking. That maybe it was somebody who you really hoped to go very far with, and maybe you have been left devastated. Look, you have another hope. Oh, there's another card. Gifts and hope. Are you giving gifts to somebody? Page of Cups. Are you the one kind of like trying to do it, try to reason with somebody? Somebody didn't want to hear it. Somebody didn't listen to any reason or anything. Or somebody felt like he's like God's given gift to women or men, something like that. This is very strong connection with this card, the Star, which is also connecting to your card. But somebody was like really ignorant about the situation. Maybe you are the gift for them. Maybe they just didn't realize that. You know, well, it's too bad. Just like as I told you initially, don't pass on your opportunities. Try to see where they lead. If nothing else, you're going to have a coffee with somebody and just like say thank you. But if nothing else, maybe this person is going to say something that is going to trigger something or put certain things to end. It is really amazing how even sometimes complete strangers come in our life and cause us to have closure, if nothing else. And this is not for us to use them, absolutely not. So how you usually end up with closure is somebody who is trying to pull the same wool over your face. And this time you are not into that anymore. And you go all of a sudden, no more. I see light. And light is going to be. So guys, you do deserve love. You need to allow yourself to go forward. You need to allow yourself to go forward without somebody who has damaged you. Sorry, I cannot use any other word than the damage. And because your card in tarot is strength, you have to apply it right now. It's like one of those Monopoly, you know, cards. I don't know how you played it with a parking card and keep it for later and get out of parking, get out of jail kind of card. It is time to play it. It is time to aim where you want to go and go forward. Your cards are lining up, but you're creating yourself lots of difficulties, and this can also say that things from the past will be popping up, or and they will pop up not in a good way. They'll pop up by saying, oh, well, yay, I really wanted so much, but this happened to me, and that kind of like stuff. Call their crap. Okay? Leos, I love you. You know where to find me. You want a private reading with me? I'm taking less privates these days because I have a baby, Mr. Tiger, at home, and everybody in the neighborhood has to call him Mr. T. I'm not letting anybody to call him Tiger, so he can all respond to me. He's very active and very submissive, you know, border collie. But the sooner that you order, the sooner you're going to get. And please follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're not a subscriber and this resonated with you, well, this is your time. subscribers also get some additional readings. And if you are willing to kind of like get my 2 cents on different topics, then try to kind of like get to my mailing list. Everything is like down in the description. You can find the links to all of it. And lastly, lives on Saturday at 11 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, Coffee with Kat, is kind of like really chatty room where people already know each other, so I invite you there. And guess what? Somebody always wins a sample reading, just like a mini reading, but it is what it is. Hopefully it's going to be you. My dear Leos, your time has come. You deserve love, and stay optimistic about it. I want to hear all about it. Comments are there for that reason. Okay? All the best.